In California, 2017, Val is hooked on a first-person shooter called Field of Fire. She's a top player, known online as Speedrun, and dreams of going pro by winning a tournament. One morning, her father Carlos reminds her about a job interview he arranged through his brother. It's a big opportunity. Val hasn't worked in months. He also asks her to pick up her grandmother from a doctor's appointment afterward. Val agrees, but she's not being honest. She leaves the house dressed for an interview, then immediately changes clothes in her boyfriend Evan's car. Instead of going to the interview, she's heading to a gaming tournament. Evan doesn't like the idea of skipping out, but Val brushes it off. She plans to call in sick. The prize is $10,000, and winning could launch her professional career. But Evan has bad news. Roy, aka Kilohertz, the top-ranked player, is competing too. At the arena, Roy is already the center of attention. He's been voted Gamer of the Year and featured on magazine covers. Commentators expect him to win. Val is determined to beat him, but Evan reminds her that the goal is just to qualify. As the match starts, Evan is the only one cheering for her. Val scores the first kill, but Roy quickly enters the game, steals her kills and shows off, high-fiving fans and even playing blindfolded. Val keeps pushing and eventually ties with Roy. With seconds left, she has a clear shot at winning, but goes after Roy instead, chasing a flashy finish. Roy's character vanishes, reappears behind her, and takes her out, winning the tournament. On the way out, Val vents about Roy's impossible moves. Evan tries to stay positive. She made it to the finals. But Val sees no point if she can't beat Roy. Roy walks up, mocks her, then leaves to pose with fans. While Evan fetches the car, Val is approached by a man named Kojima. He congratulates her, then warns she'll lose tomorrow. He introduces himself as a fairy grandmother, hands her his card, and says she'll need his help to win. He also confirms her suspicion. Roy's performance isn't humanly possible. Back home, Carlos asks about the interview. Val lies, but he's already spoken to his brother and knows she skipped it. She also forgot her grandmother, forcing Carlos to leave work and nearly get fired. He reschedules the interview for the next day. Val tries to explain about the finals and the prize money, but Carlos isn't interested. He says this is about her lying and being selfish. Frustrated, Val lashes out, saying she doesn't want a dead-end life like his, and that she understands why her mother left. Val opens a job application on her computer, but quickly switches to watching a gaming stream. Still thinking about Roy, she takes Kojima's card and visits the address listed. She arrives at a place called the Gold Saucer, which is a gaming cafe. Without greeting her, Kojima has her sit down and play a game. Val chooses a bullet hell game on the highest difficulty and is immediately defeated. Kojima then offers her a drink called Impulse 9, which she assumes is just an energy drink. When he opens it, the sound draws attention from everyone in the cafe. He pours a small amount into the cap and Val drinks it. Immediately, her senses sharpen. Her reaction time improves dramatically, and she's able to beat the difficult game flawlessly. When the effects wear off, she finds herself sitting at a table with Kojima. He explains that Impulse 9 stretches time for the user, but the more it stretches, the harder it rebounds. Val was unconscious for an hour. Kojima offers to sell her a full bottle for $500, and it's all the money Val has, and using it would be cheating. But Kojima reminds her that Roy doesn't care. He uses it too. As Val looks at the high scores she achieved during her brief use, she decides to buy it. The next day, Val drinks a small dose of Impulse 9 before the tournament. Time slows down for her, and she easily defeats opponents. However, Roy is also using Impulse 9 and quickly overtakes her score. When Val's dose wears off, she becomes desperate and drinks the entire bottle. Her reaction time peaks. She eliminates Roy's character and wins the tournament, but the high dose keeps her under for much longer. When she wakes up, it's the year 2029 AI. After Impulse, she's living in a rundown house with 3 children who call her mom. Shocked, Val vomits. Evan, now her husband, checks on her, but she runs outside. The world is now post-apocalyptic, with people living in tents and using makeshift toilets. Evan follows her and gives her a gas mask, then tells the children it's time for their lessons. While taking the kids to school, Evan reminds Val about their responsibilities. They rotate between scavenging in the wastelands and handling gate security. One of the kids picks up dried dog feces, thinking it's a rock, and asks Val to keep it safe until class is over. School consists of a teacher with a few tables set up in the street. The day's lesson covers how to react if a child sees a death lizard. They must run and hide. Val tries to talk to Evan about how strange everything is, but a neighbor interrupts, calling her sheriff. The woman explains that another neighbor snapped back from an impulse state and can't remember the last 8 years. Deputy Dan pulls the man from a tent and labels him a pulsar. Evan insults him. Pulsars are individuals who overdosed on impulse and became non-functional, contributing to the collapse of society. The former president was one and launched nukes after snapping back during a blackout. Evan wants to attack the man, but Dan stops him and asks Val what to do since the man has no useful skills. Still disoriented, Val orders Dan to kick him out. Later, Evan asks what Val had wanted to discuss. She avoids the conversation by claiming she has a stomachache. Evan casually mentions they ate beetles the night before. Dan then escorts the pulsar out of the area and closes the gate. A weather alarm sounds and everyone puts on gas masks. At home, Val panics because she doesn't know how to care for a baby. She considers calling her father, but he's already dead. His ashes sit in an urn nearby. She forces herself to stay focused and calm. Dan soon calls her for latrine duty. In this timeline, Val juggles multiple roles: sheriff, sanitation commissioner, scavenger, and mother. She spends the rest of the day cleaning toilets and ends the day exhausted. When Val gets home, she doesn't get any rest. She has to take care of the kids while Evan handles gate duty. Days go by with the same routine, and the exhaustion builds. Sometimes she takes gate duty too, which means standing for hours with nothing to do. On top of that, she handles laundry, powers the generator by pedaling a bike, and eats low-quality food. The kids try to connect with her and even give her a drawing of herself, but she remains distant. One night she comes home to find Field of Fire playing on the TV. Evan had powered up the game console by pedaling, something he does once a month for game night. Instead of getting rest before her shift, Val joins the kids, shows off her gaming skills, and teaches them how to play. It's the first time she truly bonds with them. A few hours later, Val is still playing and forgets her gate shift. Evan returns with bad news. Nobody was there to open the gate for Dan, who was killed by a death lizard. Dan's wife blames Val, and Evan reminds her the shift is still hers. Val takes her post, overwhelmed by guilt. The next morning, she tells Evan she can't keep living like this. Working non-stop and being punished for one break makes life feel pointless. Evan tries to reassure her, telling her she's been a great wife, mother, and a responsible person, and not to let one failure define her. Still, Val isn't convinced. After Evan leaves, she packs a few belongings and writes a goodbye letter. When Evan wakes up, he finds her gone and reads the note. In it, Val reveals she's a pulsar. She apologizes and says pulsars don't belong in society, which is why she left. Val walks through the wastelands and sees the bodies of other pulsars. After wandering for hours in the heat, she stumbles upon the gold saucer. The place is worn down, but still operating. Kojima, unchanged from 12 years ago, keeps it running using solar panels. Val confronts him for ruining her life. Kojima offers no refund, but instead hands her a large bottle of Impulse 9. He tells her she can drink it and spend the rest of her life playing games in the store. Val accepts and sits down to play, but then she notices her daughter's drawing. The words, "My hero," catch her attention. Remembering her family, Val changes her mind and leaves. At the town gate, Evan refuses to let her in. He assumes she's only back because the wastelands are worse. Val slides the drawing under the gate and says she wants to live up to her children's view of her. She promises to do extra work and make things right. Evan hesitates. Val doesn't remember the last 12 years of their life together. Gunfire cuts the moment short. Evan yells that death lizards are approaching. The town alarm sounds and Val slips through the gate while Evan rushes to find the kids. Inside, people start packing and heading for the ravine. With Dan dead and Val unreliable, they believe no one can protect them. Val refuses to run. She tells her family to hide, then prepares for a fight. At the gate, she sets up fuel barrels and takes the Impulse 9 bottle with her. When the lizards arrive in a truck, she's surprised to see Roy leading them. He recognizes her and mocks her, saying they'll kill her and her family. Val throws the Impulse bottle. Roy realizes she drank it all. His gang moves in, but Val, now enhanced, moves faster and shoots the barrels, triggering a large explosion. Val shoots a gangster flying through the air, while another is killed by his own grenade. She continues firing and takes out several more. During the fight, a stray bullet hits her shoulder, knocking her down. Despite the injury, she manages to shoot the last remaining gangster. Roy shoots at her, and she lowers her weapon. As he prepares to finish her off, Val dodges his shot and fires back, killing him. She then fires a flare to signal that the town is safe. Val dies shortly after, still holding her daughter's drawing.